guys, my name is Victoria Fernandez and welcome to my channel. I live to inspire mental health. If you like this video, please subscribe and like and share and comment anything that you wish that I would talk about in the future. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what it was like to accept my diagnosis with bipolar disorder and how accepting it changed my life drastically for the better. This is something that I talk about on my first video a little bit, and it's something that I feel like a lot of people who have been diagnosed with some type of mental disorder or some illness have a lot of trouble accepting it, and I think that it kind of becomes a little bit of a identity crisis, because I think in those moments you begin to ask yourself, who am I? Because just by being diagnosed or being told that you have something, suddenly you start questioning every single thing about yourself. And it's like, who have I been in my life? Who am I now? What does this mean for the rest of my life? And I think that in that moment, you have two choices. You have the choice of not accepting it, feeling negative, feeling like the things that are being told to you are all lies, and really kind of being in denial, which I think that at the end of the day, instead of making it go away, what you do is that you end up hurting yourself and hurting the people around you, because not accepting a reality has a lot of negative consequences. The other choice that you have is accepting it and being like, okay, this is what I have, and what do I do now? What am I gonna have to do to get better, to be stable, to live the life that I want to live despite my illness or despite my struggle? Obviously this is not something that's easy to do, because again, it's like you go into an identity crisis. Who am I now? I remember when I was first told that I could have bipolar disorder, I was like, there is no way. I am not crazy. I don't have this. Like, why would you tell me that I have something I don't? So I was in denial at first, and what we did, we went to a different doctor and he said the same thing. And I think that in that moment, I did realize that I was like, okay, this is something that I have. This is something that I can't do anything about. I started thinking at first all the negative things. I'm gonna have to take medications for the rest of my life. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to hide who I am. I'm ashamed of who I am. This is the reason that I acted the way I did. But if people knew, they wouldn't wanna be close to me, because they would think I'm crazy. And there was just a lot of things that I had to emotionally take in. It was hard, like sitting there and like trying to take it all in. And I know it was very difficult for my parents to accept it. I think that like I've talked about before, for a parent to have to accept that your kid has something is very difficult, because you don't want your kids to go through anything. You don't want your kids to be different. You want them to be normal. But I always say there's no such thing as normal, and everybody has their own struggle. There are 1 in 5 people who have a mental disorder in the US. So that is a lot of people. And I know it was really hard for them, but I had to we all had to learn how to deal with it and how I could get better. So I also say, this is my first video, that I was also diagnosed with dyslexia and ADD. So obviously everything was in the same year, so it was very difficult, because I was just like, what else is wrong with me? No one is ever gonna want to be with me. I am less than everybody else. I can't do anything. I have all these struggles. I wish people understood why I act the way I do sometimes, because I feel like they judge me. And I think that I cried a lot because of this, because of my diagnosis. I cried a lot whenever I began to take medications, because I started to wonder, am I the person without medications, or am I the person who takes medications and that is more stable? So I was just like, who am I? Like, am I being fake to the people around me, because now I'm taking medications and they make me different? And this is something I will talk about in the future when I make a video about what it's been like to take medications and the struggle with it, as well as the benefits and the bad stuff too. But basically with that, I later learned that I am who I am with my medications. It's just that chemically I'm stable, but this is who I am. I don't lose the person that I am. I don't lose the dreams that I have. I don't lose my purpose, my sense of self. So when I realized that, I was like, I would rather be myself that is happy, that is stable, than be myself that is depressed and that is missing something that other people have. It's just like having any other type of illness that doesn't have to be a mental illness. Like if you have like asthma, for example, you have to sometimes get like treatment, maybe same with diabetes, all this kind of stuff, but you're still the same person. You're just doing something because something in your body is not in their normal levels, and you need to compensate for that by getting treatment. So I think that that's one of the things that's like really important. And also with the identity thing, one of my latest posts on Instagram was about I am not my mental illness, but my mental illness has made me who I am. So I don't like to say I am bipolar, because I am not bipolar. I have bipolar disorder, and that is something that does not define my life. It has made me grow, it has made me strong, and it has shaped several things in my life. Yes, but I am not my disorder, because I don't like to define myself through the things that are supposed to be bad, the illness. I don't like to define myself as somebody who's limited in life because I have something, because everybody has something. So I am not that. I think one of the things that I used to do in high school a lot is I used to say, oh, it's just because I'm dyslexic. And I think that was trying to compensate for the thing that I felt like I had a weakness from everybody else. Like when I would read in class, I would struggle a little bit. I struggle in Spanish more. I can read in my head fine, but it's just like out loud. It's kind of hard. But I would say I am dyslexic, and I do catch myself saying that because I feel like it's a little less serious for me how my symptoms are than my bipolar disorder. But I do need to work on that, because I am not my dyslexia, I am not my ADD, and I am not my bipolar disorder. They're just things in my life that happen to me that I have to deal with sometimes, but that don't define me. They don't define who I am. They don't define my future. They instead make me want to fight more each day, because they give me this purpose, in this case helping other people who are struggling with the same things, mental illnesses, learning disabilities, even other struggles. It can be physical, anything in life. So basically it's whatever your diagnosis is. It is hard, but what can you do? Nothing. You can't, some things don't go away. Bipolar disorder doesn't just go away. It can come and go. What do? I go to the doctor regularly. Now I don't go every month, I go every 6 months, because I'm stable, because I'm good. So it's not something that's constant in my life all the time. I don't think about it all the time. I really don't think about it. I mean, I obviously have this channel, but it's very like, for me, it's something that is external and not inside of me anymore. I'm not attached to my diagnosis, to my illness. So I don't go in life thinking I'm weaker because of that, because I'm not. So if you've been diagnosed with something lately and you don't know how to deal with it, you feel like your life is over, you feel like nobody's gonna love you, you feel like all these fears, all these anxieties, everything's gonna be okay. And the first step to recovery is accepting your diagnosis, accepting that you have something, because so many times people don't accept it, they're in denial, so they don't get help. And what happens is their life is not stable. They make poor decisions, they like have a disturbed life, disturbed relationships. So what you have to do, it's hard, but you have to be like, it's not the end of the world, I'm fine, I'm not gonna die, I can deal with this, there are solutions, I can lessen all the side effects. So when you realize that, it your life becomes a lot better, and you're better able to move on and to be happy and to truly live life. So if you are going through that, don't get stuck. It's not worth it. You're wasting your lifetime being stuck on something you can just accept, and once you accept it, you feel liberated, and you open your heart and your mind to getting help and to receiving love and to entering a community that's going to accept you and love you and understand you. So this is it for this video. If you like, please subscribe and like this video, and comment anything, your thoughts, or whatever else you want me to talk about. And also follow me on Instagram. My link would be I live to inspire mental health, which I will leave down below. So yeah, always remember that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, and a bad day does not mean a bad life.